We're now learning President Biden is finally going to address the tragic and deadly wildfire in Hawaii. It happened about a week ago. There are discussions underway at the White House about Biden making a visit to Maui. So why now? He was silent when we learned 99 people were confirmed dead. He was silent when we saw these devastating images of heartbreak and loss. And he wouldn't even say one word to the victims when a reporter confronted him. So why now, Mr. President? You know, Harris, we got the statement from the White House, which Emily really well laid out. It could have been like a Neo-type statement where his publicist wrote it for him. In this case, his White House staff. But it is peculiar to me. Why now? Why you wait 7 days? The fire started Tuesday evening.
Well, they're starting to feel some pressure on the White House from what we saw last hour on the Faulkner Focus. I mean, Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana called for Congress to do something. He says, I'm ready to sign. So when you start to hear Congress coalesce around something and want to take movement, I think that puts pressure on the White House. I mean, they don't want to be behind that and then also blame Congress for everything that they like to blame. Well, we can't get the border done because it's Congress, it's the Senate, it's the House majority, Republicans, so on and so forth. So I think that's part of it. The other part of it are just simply the optics that I pointed out day one. You sat in the White House with a president who was born in Hawaii. I mean, you've got a former Democrat who was a congresswoman there, Tulsi Gabbard, talking and becoming the face of a call for those back in Washington to do the right thing. I mean, how can you sit in the White House having sat next to Barack Obama and not at least say something? And more than just a tweet or a post that he probably, I don't think he wrote that, but he certainly, when it came to talking, he didn't have any words. He was all out of his words. No. So, yeah, now is late, but White House time? Yeah, they're right on time. Biden White House time. Brian, let's review some of President Biden's most callous moments. Take a watch.
Mr. President, any comments on the rising death toll in Maui?
Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
She was very specific recently, saying that a mom, a poor mother who lost 2 kids to fentanyl, that I killed her sons. Well, the interesting thing is, that fentanyl they took came during the last administration.
We've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
And then check. And then, of course, that last image, checking his watch during the dignified transfer of the 13 fallen.
And that's 2 years to the day, not at Dover, but 2 years to the day when we left Afghanistan. And they insulted our intelligence, Admiral Kirby and the president, saying it was a big success. Admiral Kirby said, from my perch, I think it went well. I didn't see any chaos. And these are not hard things for a guy that sold himself as an empathetic president who had personal tragedy in his life and can relate to people. He always talks about himself in those times, which is an odd approach. But this is the easiest thing in the world. When someone asks you, even though your son just got his plea deal just blew up, and now things are getting closer to you, this is the perfect time when you walk over, the press is sitting there and say, listen, I'm going to be back tomorrow, but let me just say, I'm seeing these pictures of Hawaii. I cannot believe the damage is done. And I'm going to, and I'm going to be on the phone tonight with both senators and the governor. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to get back to you at noon. But I would just add one other thing. He does not have the instincts to do that. I find astounding. And the fact is, he didn't even correct it right away. When you get in the car, if they say to him, Mr. President, they just ask you how Hawaii was.
You're assuming he knew.
Pop out again if he had an aide to do it. And the other thing that is insane is that I know his instinct to avoid the press because of Hunter. But if you walk up, and Kayla, you know this better than anybody. If he walked up and I asked a Hunter question, excuse me, I'm talking about Hawaii. These people lost everything.
Right.
There are people missing. This is not the time to talk about any legal case. You had everything there for you, but his instincts after 50 years of doing the same job are off.
Yeah, that's spot on. And, you know, Emily, we often do segments like This Day in History, right? Well, because there are so many moments in the Biden White House, we could do This Day in Empathy. Take a look at this, because this is to the day. This is Chad Gilmartin, August 13th, 2021. Biden takes off for a long weekend as the Taliban takes over Afghanistan. We covered that here on the couch. Then you fast forward 2 years later, same day, August 13th, Biden spends the day at the beach and has no comment about Maui. I mean, this guy's just tone deaf.
Yeah, the problem is we are seeing retirement. We talk about quiet quitting all the time, that it's reserved for those people who are, 2025. This president has quiet quit on us, and he frankly has zero grasp of the decency he campaigned on. I think that it shows his disdain and his lack of qualifications to hold that commander-in-chief Oval Office position. As Hawaiians are devastated, Americans feel nothing but despair at the two-tier justice system, at the way a prior president is being treated at the hands of his administration. And then he sits there with his hat off, his bald head showing on the beach, enjoying the Rehoboth waves, and doesn't have the decency to say, my heart goes out to the Hawaiians right now. I thought also that everything was for climate change, so not sure why he's not wearing a hat. The fact that any normal average American can say, hey, just how hard is it to say, my prayers are with you? And the notion that he doesn't have advisors saying, we need you to control the narrative right now, how easy it would be to harness your role as commander-in-chief and say, I want Hawaiians front and center.
Like Bill Clinton did in Oklahoma?
Yeah, but we know about those advisors and those aides because we've been hearing about it for weeks now. People behind the scenes reportedly not getting along. Axios reporting people don't want to be alone in a room with him because of his anger.
Right. Well, I think, Harris, you're picking up on something very important there, because I think there's more blame to place here, not just on President Biden. Where was the staff? Were they on vacation as well? Come out with a statement. Even if he didn't say it, put it on paper.
Well, they
tweeted
it.
But something. But the fact that he ignored. But also, I have to say, I have a problem with FEMA right now. Have you seen what they're offering? $700.
Yeah.
Do you know what the average cost for a family of four per month is in Hawaii? $7,980. That is the average cost to live in Hawaii for a family of four. It is $2,455 per person. This is the most expensive state in the nation to live, and you're giving them $700.
Which is
you need to start handing out millions of dollars. Forget Ukraine. I'm sorry. It needs to go to Hawaii.
Most of those people that we've been reading about so far did not own the most expensive property on that island. So you're saying that they're paying those high prices. The aggregate cost has gone up, but their standard of living has not. And now look where it is.
And the $700 would only cover the cost of increased Biden inflation since he took office.
Exactly.
And I just want to make a quick final point that I wanted to make, that part of the travesty and the tragedy that is happening in Hawaii is the fact that people cannot move from where they are in the north. So they are cut off, not only from communication and their families, but also their prescription medicine and normal toiletries that you need to survive and ensure hygiene and the like. Oprah Winfrey, bless her, who owns property, has personally flown there and has been handing out those items. So just please keep that in mind as we watch our president enjoy Lake Tahoe next week, where properties on the water have now skyrocketed to an average of, $30 million in value. While he enjoys it there, we have private citizens that are handing out the prescriptions and the toiletries needed for those Hawaiians that are American citizens under Biden's watch.
10 days in Delaware on the beach. He has spent 40% of his presidency on vacation, and now Lake Tahoe. Enjoy, Mr. President.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.